head, and there he goes. Abyss gonna clean him up.
Olaf goes down. Everyone's just gonna line up here for Lazzy. He's gonna find himself the Quadra. Give it to him. Pentakill.
Priestley with the quad feet.
Gets the ace. Available, just spin to win all over.
That game was insane.
Action. I'm John Billbangs Udema, joined here today with Josh Fundy Pafundi. How you doing today, Josh? You're looking forward to some exciting preseason action.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Like, I'm pretty excited, you know, start of the season, first game of the preseason. Like, I'm excited to see what our roster can do, and I'm excited to see what Bay State brings to the table as well.
Should be an exciting game so far. Obviously, all these guys on our team at least are new, so interesting to see how these guys are going to line up with each other, how they're going to be able to play with each other. And I guess it's our last game that we haven't really broadcast yet. We've got a couple as well that we have to do. But how do you feel so far being back, you know, in person with each other? And how do you think these guys are feeling being back in person with each other to play these games?
Honestly, I feel like being in person as a team, you know, it brings that coordination, and it also just brings like the hype when the players themselves are playing. They're playing off of each other, and they're right there, you know.
Yeah, for sure. So, looking forward to our game number 1. We did just drop on patch 11.18. A lot of changes. I think there was like 32 champions or something that got buffed or nerfed. It was just a couple days ago. So, a lot of changes that these guys are going to have to make in a very short amount of time. I think that brings a lot of it'll be interesting to see whether they stick to stuff from the last patch or if they, you know, try something new. Obviously, Talon and Zed got buffs in the jungle. A couple other big changes throughout the scene. What do you think, and how do you think these teams play? Obviously, it is preseason, so you have a little bit more leeway to kind of try stuff out, see how you want to, you know, play each role. And do you think that they go for something more conservative, where, you know, you just kind of want to get comfortable with your teammates, or do you think you start trying stuff out, especially as a coach, trying to make those kinds of decisions?
Given that it's preseason, I could totally see them just sticking to the meta picks, you know, playing like a regular comp that they're comfortable with, you know, getting used to it, getting used to playing with each other. But I would also love to see some off-meta picks. You know, I'm a huge fan of that personally, so
I think it's really exciting when you see those kind of weird picks, and that's why I like seeing Zed's gotten buffed in the jungle multiple times throughout the last couple months. So I think it's definitely going to rise in priority. Obviously, it is a long shot because it doesn't really provide a good CC for jungle, which is huge, especially at high-level play. But I still think it'd be interesting to see. And, yeah, a lot of those off-meta picks are going to be super exciting for us to try out. And, you know, obviously all these guys are new. What do you think's going on in their heads right now? What do you think's going on in the head coach's head as well?
I could see some nervousness going on with them, but you know, I hope they're just getting ready to play.
Yeah, look, they're pretty relaxed up there in the room. I think they're looking pretty good. Looks like we are going to be getting champ select here. So first bans are going to be Jax and Thresh.
Okay.
So we got a Galio ban from Bay State. And what do you think about, obviously, Jax not exactly a super high priority around high level play right now, but maybe it's a specific target ban. For our new top laner, Ricky, coming into his first season here, how do you think these guys are going to line up?
Pretty good. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised to see a Jax ban first. That's kind of like a hyper carry you won't really see in like a lot of coordinated play, but
yeah. So it looks like we got Lee Sin banned, Aatrox, and LeBlanc are going to be the final bans. A lot of, I'd say, meta bans from St. Clair. Obviously, LeBlanc always has a lot of agency in a game. Thresh, a really strong support right now, because I feel like a lot of stuff going in right now as supports is engaged. So like Leona, Nautilus, even Rel are all really good supports right now. So Thresh kind of counters a lot of that. But first pick Jarvan from Bay State. How you feeling about that?
Yeah, good, solid jungle pick, I'd say. We're going to see the Kindred coming out, possibly from St. Clair here.
So it looks like jungler's locked in. Jarvan, Kindred, very different play styles. Jarvan really wants to just gank and gank and gank as much as he can. Get his team ahead early in the game. Kindred just kind of wants to farm it out in the early game. Doesn't really want to do too much. Got a Karma So good flex
Okay.
pick for the Karma. But yeah, how do you think these junglers are going to line up, and how do you think they want to play this game?
Yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot of like push-pull here in the jungle. Like we might see a lot of engages around those kindred marks, and especially when it comes up on that scuttle there. So I want to see how that plays out.
Yeah, so we got Lulu Aphelios in the bot lane actually locked in for base state. So interesting to see that. And I like Lulu. I think Lulu's a very, very strong champion in a lot of positions. But Aphelios, I feel, is a very vulnerable ADC. So you can definitely have a lot of pick potential on that carry. But again, like we saw, the Kindred was the early pick for the jungle. So not a lot of good CC, reliable CC. So Aphelios might just get more of a easier lane than you think he would.
Yeah. As long as they can hit, maybe if this Karma can get some slows on the Aphelios, kind of peel, that Kindred can draw for R, maybe they can shut down the Aphelios, but then again, they do have that Lulu. That is definitely going to be a threat, especially the longer we go on into this game.
Yeah, for sure. So we got a couple of mid lane bans from St. Clair, Zoe and Zareth, and a support Braum ban from Base State, and they have one ban left. We'll see who it is, but who are you looking for? Obviously, Karma is a flex pick. Oh, Scion actually is going to be the ban in the top lane there. So one ban for the support, one ban for top lane. And Karma is still flexible, can go not as good as in top or mid as she was before, but still a viable pick for both of those lanes. So
a fairly squishy team coming out from St. Clair right now. I want to see what these last two picks will look like. Maybe they'll get some B for the front line.
Yeah, so it looks like they are going to have, I believe it's for sure their top laner is still need to be picked. Lysandra actually is going to be the pick for the mid lane. So they can still flex that Karma to top or support. So they are going to have a lot for Base State to think about here. Orianna is going to be the mid lane pick. The Jarvan-Orianna combo, very, very potent, especially if you can get multiple people caught out. That can be a game changer.
For sure.
And looks like Gnar. So final pick there. Pretty standard comp, I'd say, from Base State. You got your tanky and Gnar and Jarvan. You got your Orianna good control mage in the mid lane. And your Aphelios for that late game with Lulu able to stay on top of him, give him what he needs. So pretty standard there for Base State. St. Clair is going to have one pick remaining. We'll see what it's going to be. And it looks like it's going to be Mundo, actually. So Mundo got slightly changed now. So his R actually removes Grievous Wounds. Oh, actually, we're going to get a set pick. So, interesting pick there. It is going to be Karma support. I guess you could technically flex that Karma and set to jump to a top or support, but I think it's going to be set top.
Yeah, I haven't seen set support in a little bit, but who knows? Maybe they will, but...
I definitely like both of these team comps. I think they're really good. I think Bay State does have the really easy to execute team comp, I'd say, where it's really simple. You get Jarvan, EQ in, you get Orianna, throw the ball on him, R into a team fight, and you probably roll them pretty hard. But it's going to be a challenge for St. Clair's first day because they are going to have the more difficult team comp to try and work around, but definitely could do a lot in this game.
Yeah, Bay State has that very engage heavy, dive heavy comp, and then we're seeing a lot of long range and more poke oriented picks from St. Clair with that Varus pick. We got Lysandra as a mage, and then Kindred, just always trying to get that range buff attack speed.
So to both these teams, definitely going to be interesting to see how they play out. How are you expecting this first 10 to 15 minutes to go so in this game?
I think honestly it all comes down to these first scuttle crabs. Even if a kill comes off of this, that is a huge advantage for whichever team gets there. And if Bay State is the one who ends up picking up that kill, then I think they could steamroll this game with their comp.
Yeah, for sure. So it looks like Set will be locked in the top lane there. So Ricky will be taking that on. And Set is I do like Set. I think he's a really good champion, offers a lot. Obviously, he's able to kind of displace a lot of members of, you do kind of want that Jarvan to come into your team. But if he does end up EQing in, you can take Set and just kind of throw him back out to his own team. Yeah. So it's a pretty effective tool to try and get rid of that the EQ threat from Jarvan. And obviously the Gnar coming in, he is going to be able to have a lot of access on your team. But Lysandra, not exactly a pick that I've seen a lot of lately. I think it's an interesting one. I don't really know. Obviously, it was taken pretty late. But what do you think about that pick?
Me as well. I haven't seen a lot of Lysandra. It could just be Taekyung's like main. The champ he's comfortable on, and he wants to get that. But I don't know. I want to see how this plays out against the Orianna in the lane.
Yeah, and I think it's really, really key to get a lot of your comfort. Obviously, like we said, all these guys playing for the first time for St. Clair. And when you start playing at this, really organized level of League of Legends, it's totally different than, playing solo queue at home. You need to be able to understand exactly, what your teammates are going to do, what you want to contribute, where your role is in the team, and where you want to go. Like, even just shot calling, where you want to go for objectives is super important. So being comfortable on a champion, at least when you're comfortable enough on a champion, you can kind of, you don't have to worry so much about your micro mechanics. You can worry more about, what does my team want to do? Where should I be right now? How am I going to manage the waves and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the comfort picks, I think they're really going to let St. Clair play as a team and not worry about their micro play like you said. And
I think
we'll see.
Yeah, I think another thing too that St. Clair does have is a lot of poke in the bot lane between Varus and Karma.
Sure.
Obviously, you do have the Lulu shielding that can help out this Aphelios, but Varus has been seen quite a lot in pro play this year. I think he's up at like 50 or 60% pick ban, which is pretty high for an ADC, and he's been slightly nerfed, but not too badly. So he still definitely has a viable spot here on the Rift. So how do you think this bot lane is going to go? What is Baystate going to have to do to try and relegate some of those weaknesses in the early game?
Yeah, I could see Baystate just playing really passive here, farming up that Aphelios, waiting maybe until even level 6 just for any kind of engage here, unless they get some jungle help early on.
Yeah, for sure. And Kindred, obviously a champion that you kind of want to just let it farm for a while, let her get up to at least like a couple stacks on her passive, and then that's when you start looking for these team fights. Because she can be so much more effective when she has that farm lead. And obviously, like we said, definitely two different jungle games. Jarvan wants to gank, get his team ahead early, especially the top lane with that Gnar. You want to try and get him ahead early. Kindred just kind of wants to farm it out, wait till later in the game when she picks up a lot more damage, a lot more range. That's when she become way more effective.
Yeah, I really think the early game, this first 5 to 10 minutes, it's really going to come down to this Jarvan, how these ganks play out. If this Kindred can get a CS lead quickly, then we might just see Jarvan behind the whole game. But then again, there's always that chance, you get that all combo with the Orianna, and the team fight could totally turn the tide of the game.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question: is can this duo of Varus and Karma escape that inevitable, the Gnar hopping on top of you, the Jarvan hopping on top of you, the Orianna ball on top of one of them, and are they going to be able to escape that? Because if they will, the game's probably going to be pretty easy for St. Clair. But if they end up getting caught in those AoE ults, you're going to have a really tough time winning this game, especially because, you do have the Kindred, which does kind of counter, I guess, a lot of the stuff that Baystate's going to want to do, right? Because if you can throw down that Kindred ult before you get CC'd, you can actually allow your team to survive. Karma healing, shielding can help you get back up, and you can get back in a fight. So I think it is going to be really down to this jungle matchup, how it's going to play out. I feel like that's a lot of League, though, is how well the junglers do kind of determines how well the game goes. So looks like we're starting here in just a couple minutes. Definitely some exciting action. What are your predictions for this game?
Predictions for this game? Yeah, I think I could see St. Clair possibly coming out on top in the later game, but yeah, this early game is really I think this early game is all on BSU.
Yeah, for sure. So I just want to remind you guys, we do have a giveaway going on, totally free. All you have to do is follow, like, and retweet. It's pinned on the Saints Twitter. So go take a look, go enter in, really easy. You want a free shirt, you want a free jacket, you want a free sweater, you want free whatever you want. Just enter the giveaway, and one of you will be winning that. So it ends on September 10th. So hurry up, get in that giveaway, and get yourself some free Saints merch. So as I was saying, my predictions for this game, I think I agree with you. If they get to the late game, I think it's totally going to be about execution on that Gnar and on the Jarvan Orianna combo. If they can get that off and get that, have like before Kindred can ult, if they can AoE, Varus or Karma and get those picks, huge for them. But if they aren't able to execute that properly, I really like St. Clair. I really like the follow up they can provide, and I think they are going to end up on top in these team fights. So, getting on to the Rift here in just a moment. Any last thoughts?
I'm actually pretty excited to see how this top lane plays out as well. Gnar into set, it's kind of he's got that range advantage. Gnar's got that range advantage initially, but then when he goes mega, you kind of just get to see just a nice brawl. So always exciting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really key for Set to, you know, as much because Set does have a lot of agency in the early game. I think he actually plays pretty well, and can obviously with that passive getting his health back, he is able to kind of sustain himself in early game. But Jarvan always going to be a threat, always going to do a lot of ganking early, so he is going to have to be really careful, try and keep himself, you know, even with this Gnar as long as possible, and then when those late game team fights come, look for the Set to just absolutely dominate, turn those fights around for his team as much as he possibly can. So, sounds like we are getting on the Rift here. St. Clair Saints, League of Legends, game number 1 of this preseason here between Bay State and St. Clair. Can I get some shoutouts in chat and everyone excited for this? This is going to be an awesome game, and here we go.
We're really getting into it here. We're going to see teams line up, probably take some spots around the river.
Interesting. They're going for a level 1 here. So St. Clair. Oh, they're waiting for this Orianna to try and hop in this special. Lissandra is going to face check this first. She is going to see the Orianna, but she does have ball in that bush, so the level 1 will not work out here. Oh, Set actually is going to catch her with the E. So a little bit of early damage there. They're going to trade back and forth, but Orianna already down to a couple HP. She's going to back. She's going to be okay. Nothing too big to worry about.
Fine before minions hit the lane.
Yeah, so a good try. Good, a little bit cheeky from St. Clair early. Something they wanted to try out. Obviously, didn't quite work out like they wanted it to, but it's good to see them, you know, trying some stuff out early. Obviously, this preseason, so why not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. If you can get that early invade, maybe even if it's just a flash off of the Orianna, that is huge for our mid lane here.
Yeah, for sure. So looks like everyone's going to be going in their standard position. Kindred and Jarvan both going to be starting off in the top half here. So Jarvan does have a lot of options. Obviously, he does hit level 2. He does that EQ combo, so he does have options. He can just go right from the buff to top lane here. So I don't know. Set obviously very hard to take down in the early game. That W shield gives him a lot of, you know, eases a lot of the pressure that you would normally have as a top laner going into level 3, level 4 when junglers really like to gank there. So we'll see if Jarvan just goes right for the Gromp. Yeah, he does. So it looks like jungler's just going to farm it out here early. Nothing too surprising. And how do you think this mid lane matchup's going to work out?
I personally, I haven't seen Lissandra in a while, so I would like to see what she can do. I think that that long range poke, I personally think the Lissandra is easier to hit than Orianna. We're gonna see a little trade in the top lane.
A lot of trading here in the bot lane, actually. There's a lot of poke going down from both these teams. Look like St. Clair will get first. Barlow and Fresh looking to get a little bit poke out, but they will be respected there in the bot lane. The Aphelios and Lulu, they can really do so much. And I also want to point out too, in the bot lane, both supports actually brought Ignite instead of bringing, you know, Exhaust or, you know, something along those lines. They actually ended up bringing those more potent summoner spells. So might be looking like a little bit more aggressive here for both of these players. Oh, looks like Set's going to go on the top lane. He's going to miss his E, though. Jarvan, ooh, there's going to be a fight here. Jarvan has double buffs. I don't know if they want to E-hug. Actually, he's going to get caught by the EQ. Looks like he's going to go for this 1v1. He's not going to flash over the wall just for the moment. Oh, look, flash spot out, and Lulu going to have first blood there. Both supports flashing Ignite down on Karma as well. Karma is going to die here. Oh, just for the moment, going to stay alive, but no. Orianna's going to pick up that kill. 4 people in jungle here for Bay State, and that's going to be 3 kills starting off. Oh, looks like now we're going to flash the top lane. He's going to survive. But 3 minutes in here, 3 kills for Bay State. Not looking too good for St. Clair here in the early game.
Yeah, that was beautiful to see, just the way all 4 of them just converged on that jungle as soon as they saw the Kindred. They knew they were going to win that fight, and they capitalized on it.
Yeah, so definitely well played by them. Flashes down by both supports to try and, you know, keep their junglers alive for the moment there, but Kindred goes down early. And Orianna, obviously, when you're fighting in the enemy's jungle, it's really hard to get there first because the prio was definitely on Bay State there. So looks like the scuttle will go to Kindred. I believe it was the marked one, actually, so she will get that mark. So a small win for St. Clair, but when you end up giving 3 kills over to 3 members of the enemy team, there's not much you can look forward to here in this early game.
Yeah. After that, this might come down to the top lane here. I mean, you see the Set has the flash on Gnar. He might just be able to get a lot of nice trades here and maybe even get like a greedy flash for a kill, but
I think Gnar, especially with the really long early cooldown, is really susceptible to, you know, being flashed on by the Set. Unfortunately, Jarvan, I feel he did get 3 assists. He did pick up that pickaxe, so he definitely has an advantage over this Kindred in the early game. But one thing that did happen was the Lulu picked up 2 kills. So as much as, you know, that wasn't looking too good for St. Clair, 2 kills did go on the support. So obviously we saw the Varus and the Karma were doing pretty well by themselves in the early game. So 2 kills on the Lulu helps them out a little bit. But you can even see they're still holding, despite the fact that Lulu's 2 kills, she got boots. They're still holding this wave right where they want it to, near their bushes. So surprising. Looks like Fight gonna go down here in the bot lane. Varus gonna throw down a lot of damage onto Aphelios. He's going down to 150 health. It looks like he's gonna root it here for the moment. He's gonna live here, but looks like it seems like St. Clair, despite being down 2 kills in the bot lane. Ooh, actually 1v1 in the top lane here. Set looking to try and get an advantage. He's gonna flash here for the true damage onto this Gnar. Gnar's gonna live. He does get his E back up though for the moment. That means he is gonna live and he's gonna be able to stay alive. Jarvan getting bot lane here. Varus gonna be Barlow, gonna be all but dead here in the bot lane. TP gonna come down though. Set's gonna come here and join the fight. 2 kills looking great. Oh, Lissandra actually gonna pick up 1. Karma picks up 1, and there's gonna be no mana on that. And Lissandra gonna pick up another huge for St. Clair there. Tact Young picking up 2 kill and assist in the bot lane, and a lot of those obviously it still was a 1-for-2. Varus did die, but when you're behind 3 kills, it's definitely a lot better feeling for St. Clair.
And Lulu actually happened to pick up another one of those kills, so now we're seeing Lissandra with a kill. Aphelios still 0-1-3. He's even down in CS on this Varus, so I still think St. Clair has pressure on the bot lane here. I still think they're going to be able to outpoke them, and yeah, I don't think the Lulu is going to be able to outshield these Qs.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough for Lulu to do much in this lane. Obviously, Lissandra picking up the kill was huge there, and it was the advantage. You did see Orianna TP back to the mid lane to try and recover some farm. So that was the reason why Lissandra was able to TP, and you know, the other mid laner wasn't. So looks like they're going to swap here for the moment. Varus going to be alone here in mid lane. He's going to get slowed up by that. Oh, that's going to be it. Orianna with the R, and that's going to be Lulu picking up a 4th kill. So not exactly what you want. Brain here actually going to pick up a 4th kill on that support Lulu. Looks like Gnar going to throw the R, but just kind of throwing the set off. Not really sure that was used. I mean, obviously it does have a pretty low cooldown, but interesting to see him kind of use that just to keep the set off of him, at least for the moment. So, so far, 7 minutes into this game, 7 kills, 5 of them going to base state here. But state of the lanes actually doesn't look too bad for St. Clair right now.
Yeah, like we said, a lot comes down to the fact that Lulu got 4 of the kills. I mean, it's going to help, but it's not exactly what you want to see for base state. It's especially when you've got that Aphelios who could be getting the lead early. We're going to see a little scuffle go down here in the bottom lane. Jarvan gets the dragon, and then we're just going to go back to farming.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to see. It looks like Karma's going to go in here on the Aphelios. Oh, put out a lot of damage onto that Lulu. Q's going to go down. Oh, it's going to hit her, but not quite going to get the kill. Lulu just barely surviving there. And that's, she does have another shutdown, actually. She did already give up 1 to Lissandra. She has another 150 gold shutdown in the bot lane. So definitely a lot of juice there for St. Clair to try and pick up. But it's interesting to see. The Lulu does have 4 kills, but what she ended up getting here that were boots and the anti-healing orb. So it's interesting to see. Ooh, looks like Kindred might have overstepped here. Doesn't have ult up yet. Is going to stick around with Set here, but nothing's going to happen. They're just going to try and walk away. Lissandra also floating over there. It looks like Jarvan going to walk in the river here. Doesn't realize there's 3 people. Ult's going to go down by this. Oh, looks like Set going to pick up the kill already. E-Hug just going to survive for the moment. No, he's going to go down in the end to the ult from Orianna. Looks like they're going to try and keep him alive here for the moment. Rylak can try and survive. 1-for-1. Lissandra and Gnar both go down. Orianna here to try and kill this Karma. Karma is going to go down. Set going to pick up the double kill for the moment. Orianna's going to come back, though. Looks like Lulu going to be staying alive here for just a second. Poke going to go down there, trying to get it to the Orianna. That's going to be it. The auto going to go down. And Orianna picking up double buffs now. 403, but the bound bot lane here. Varus going to go in. Does get the flash out of the one, and that's going to be it. Varus, Barlow picking up a kill, getting some redemption for himself. Kills all across the board, and looks like pretty even, actually, in the end of that one.
Yeah. I'm not really liking the decisions this Kindred is making for St. Clair. E-Hug, he's making a lot of very greedy plays on this enemy jungle, and he's getting punished for it, honestly.
Oh, looks like they're going to go in here. Kindred is going to be here for the gank, so Orianna try and stay alive here. Does have a lot of damage with those double buffs, and with the Lost Chapter here in the mid, so looks like gank's not going to work out for the moment. But Orianna now sitting at 403 is very far ahead, and up 25 farm on this Lysandra. This Orianna pick looking really good for Bay State here. And just the action just keeps going. Jarvan going to get the pick onto Karma, and Orianna going to pick up a 5th kill already 9 minutes into this game. It's looking really good for Serenok here in the mid.
Yeah, we're seeing these combos here. This Jarvan very gank heavy, and it's working out, and we're starting to see the steamroller come online.
Looks like ult's going to go down here for the moment. Not going to be able to kill. Oh, that's dangerous. Orianna down to 100 HP here. Lysandra pretty low too. Can't really go in on that. Jarvan looking for something here. They're not going to find it. Kindred, meanwhile, is going to be taking that Rift Herald on top. And Lysandra does not have this ult up for 2 seconds here. Oh, that's going to be it. Jarvan goes for the execute with the R, and he is going to survive here for the moment. Yeah, so Lysandra actually had ult up in about 2 seconds, but she didn't have enough mana to pull that one off. So Orianna going down in this mid lane, down 30 farm and 5 kills already. This mid is not looking too good for St. Clair.
And then in the bot lane, we're just going to see more poking out here from this Varus. You know, Karma using her ulted Qs. Oh, Root coming in from Aphelios. And it's looking like we're just going to disengage here unless...
Oh, TP going to come in. I believe this is Set. Double TP's coming in for both sides here. Set is going to arrive first, but Gnar is going to arrive second. R going to go right back into his team. He is going to capture Gnar. Gnar is still in mini. He doesn't have Mega Gnar yet, so he's not going to be able to live for very long. Set with W, but no. Barlow going to go down really early here. And Aphelios going to throw two more autos. Oh, and the big Q by Ralik is going to pick up that kill onto the Set. So good effort by bot lane and the top laner there, but a good answer there. Good TP by Gnar. Able to actually huge by Lulu to keep him alive, even though he was in mini form. And it means that, you know, a couple more kills go over to Bay State. And this early game, definitely looking more favored towards them.
Yeah, they picked up a plate there in the bot lane. We're just going to see even Jarvan is up in farm on this Kindred, which is not exactly what you want to see as a Kindred player. You can be down in kills, that's fine. But if you're going to be down in farm, you're really looking behind.
Yeah, for sure. If you look at the itemization across, you know, all players here, Orianna already on that Luden's Echo in the mid lane with a book and with the tier stacking. Lysandra just sitting on a Lost Chapter and a Blasting Wand. Kindred not even on half. There's barely on half an item right now. Jarvan already has Gore Drinker and his free boots. And obviously Lulu sitting at 4, 1, and 7 already has the anti-heal, which is huge, and has 8 stacks. I didn't even see she bought a Dark Seal and has 8 stacks already on that Dark Seal. So definitely a lot of confidence there in the ball lane, and deserved. She is 4, 1, and 7, so she's... Oh wow, that is a lot of damage on Lysandra. That's gonna be... Oh, she's gonna live just barely with the R, but things not looking too good. Kindred gonna hop out of that R from Jarvan, but is she gonna live here for the moment? Big Q, and that's gonna be a Q from Orianna, and Serenok just looks unstoppable on this Orianna right now.
Yeah, he's really he's finding a lot of these R's. I think he's missed 1, maybe 2, but almost all of them have converted into a kill, which is definitely what you want to see. Definitely what Bay State is trying to do. It's what their comp is supporting. And now we're seeing the Karma move to the top lane. She's gonna back here.
So that's 2 dragons actually for the side of Bay State. So they're winning objectives. We do have an Ocean Soul coming up, which is definitely not something that you want to see if you're St. Clair. Definitely something good for Bay State here. They are ahead. 4.5k gold already at 13 minutes. This is looking like a really tough game for St. Clair to come back in.
Yeah, that Ocean Soul will really be tricky. You're just giving, on top of the Lulu peel, you're just giving more survivability to both the Aphelios and the tanks. And then this Orianna is just going to sit in the back line and toss her ball around.
Yeah, it's looking tough. Obviously, we finally did get that first item for this Karma coming through. Mura mana completed there for the Varus. He's just going to try and farm it out for as long as he can. I think, like you said, we really did need to see a lot of farming out of the early game from St. Clair. And it seems like after that pick that happened, or I guess that big fight that happened in the top lane by the blue buff of Jarvan there, it just seems like every fight after that was just Bay State, Bay State, Bay State.
Yeah, Jarvan really has the map presence in this game. We're going to see Kindred come in for a gank here. Flash is taken by... Flash used by Gnar.
Yes, they're going to stack 3 here. Karma's actually coming too. So definitely
going down.
Positive for them. They are going to look like they're going to get this turret. Orianna and Lulu starting to head up towards the top lane there. But they will get this turret on a last punch. Yeah, Shelly gives a last punch to that turret. It does go down. So first turret does go to St. Clair, but will they pay for it with their life? No. Big flash by Kindred to keep herself alive. And they are going to be okay for the moment here. Orianna, level 11 with the Luden's boots already. Oh, that's going to be a lot of damage. And it looks like Kindred is going to go down. Set is going to go down here in just a moment. Serenok on Legendary already. Gnar out here in just a second. Orianna going to pick up the kill anyway. 9:04 on this mid laner. And it looks... Oh, Lulu going to go for the flash. And she's going to get the karma under turret. That is just demoralizing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, when you're St. Clair, you finally get that a little bit of gold back from that first tower and just right back to resetting the lead.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like Barlow overstayed his welcome here in the mid lane. He is going to go down. Jarvan going to pick up a kill for himself here. 2-1-13. He is having an excellent game. Mid and jungle are having so good of a game from the side of Bay State here. And it just seems like this Kindred was maybe not the best pick for this one.
Yeah, especially after the Jarvan was the first pick. He like, I don't want to say he counterpicked himself, but with the way he's playing, he kind of did. He's playing really greedy. Everyone is kind of stepping up when they're really behind, especially in items, everything. And yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing here, the Aphilio's pretty far behind at 1, 2, and 4, so he is about even in farm, and the Varus is looking okay. But other than that, like, you got the Lulu 5-1-10, the Jarvan 2-1-13. Just massive, massive gold leads there. And really the only thing you can hope for now is a shutdown onto this Orianna. That could really turn the game, and that could help him out. But it's just looking like a really tough game for St. Clair to try and come back in.
Down in levels too, they're just going to be straight up weaker in these fights. So unless they have numbers advantage, I really don't see them doing anything other than just farming up here.
Yeah, you kind of have to play for as long as you can. A long game. Hopefully, you know, you get your Varus and your Kindred to that point where, you know, 40 minutes scaling. Oh, looks like Kindred almost gets one shot over the wall there by the Orianna. Does barely manage to survive from that Karma Shield, but man, when you're getting one shot from the Fog of War, it's such a tough game to try and do anything.
Bay State, just all of them rotating down from this rift, just chasing after this Kindred.
With the
barely gets
jump.
away.
Oh, dodges the Q, but no, the flash is going to secure the kill there. And with Dragon coming up in just a little bit, it might not be the best time. Looks like Karma going to be all by herself here, or Slandra, sorry, all by herself in the bot lane. Serenok, Legendary yet again, and mid laner just having the time of their lives.
Yeah, at this point he's playing an assassin. We're going to see Little Scuffle go down here in mid lane. Just a couple pokes. Rift coming down bottom, I believe.
Yeah, so that was dropped in the bot lane. He's going to go with that Gnar, try and push out, see what they can get here. Not going to be much, just a couple charges here. But obviously mid lane tower, the only one standing here for St. Clair. Pretty much their jungle has been entirely taken over. Down 8k gold in this game. There's just nothing you can do at this point, right? You're finally coming through with your first item on Kindred. She did finally pick up that Kraken Slayer. But Orianna's already on, you know, 2.5 items.
Yeah.
She will one-shot you anywhere you walk. So basically, as soon as you see the Orianna, you got to drop your R or you're going to die. And it's so hard, like you were talking about. You have Gnar ult, you have the Jarvan ult. Like, you have to try and save that R for as long as possible. But what can you do?
Yeah, you really want to save that Kindred R for your team, but then again, if you're going to get picked off, then you're just leaving your team out to dry at that point, so it's really a tough spot for this Kindred here. Ehug definitely going to have a hard time. We're seeing him over at these wolves here, while Bay State is chasing down.
Barlow is not looking like he's in a good spot, and this is, I think, like the 3rd or 4th time he's been forcing up that mid lane. And he just seems to get caught out. He had to burn his flash there, does survive. But it does seem like he's playing quite aggressive. You know, when you don't have any pressure in the jungle, you have both other outer turrets gone. You can't be walking up in that mid lane thinking you can just farm it out, because you're going to get collapsed on.
Yeah, and then again, we're seeing them push up a lot without vision here as well. Team fight coming in. Lulu all going to charge for herself. Was looking good for St. Clair, but then Bay State kind of turned it around. We're going to see the Kindred all come out. Saves the Kindred. Kindred goes down. Set's running away. Lysandra goes down. It's going to be a triple kill for Orianna. She's just getting more and more fed. I'm surprised she hasn't picked up a Dark Seal. Instead, we're seeing it on the Lulu, but
Lulu's already at 7 stacks, and it's just so hard, right? Because I think they played that actually pretty well. They got that initial ult out of Lulu, and obviously they did have to use that Kindred R pretty early, but it did save, 3 or 4 people's lives. But there's only so much you can do when the Orianna's that far ahead, the Jarvan's that far ahead, because as soon as that R goes down, Jarvan initiates onto the middle of your team. He catches 2 people in his Cataclysm, and you're just dead. You're just sitting in the water, just nowhere to go, nothing to do, and you're just so far behind at this point. 10k gold almost. There's just not much you can play for.
Yeah, and then we're most likely going to see Bay State pick up this Ocean Soul, and that might just close out the game here. We're going to see Fresh just getting some vision down in the jungle, clearing it out. They're kind of just waiting for farm here.
Yeah, I think really the only thing you can do is try and get this Orianna. Obviously, she does have the Banshees, which makes her that much harder to try and initiate on. Because if you're the Set, I think Set played that pretty well. I think Ricky actually had a good play there. He got a pick onto the Lulu, but even then, even with all the stuff you're throwing at the Lulu, she has so much shielding and healing that you just can't, you can't take her down because she can ult herself, she can shield herself, and you just don't have the damage to try and take her down. So what do you think the game plan here for St. Clair is, and the game plan for Bay State here in the next couple minutes?
Yeah, St. Clair, they really just got to focus down this Orianna, but that's going to be hard with the Lulu ult, and they're really using all of their resources on Peel when they need to be using it to try and take out some of these early. Oh, Jarvan going to get the pick there on Varus. That might just close out this team fight. Set's going to ult the Aphelios. Might get something there. Takes him down, but Jarvan's going to take out our Lissandra. And just a disengage here.
Yeah, it just seems like there's only so much you can do when you're this far behind. Obviously, a good pick by the Set. Oh, it does almost get the Lulu there on the W, but doesn't quite get enough damage. Serenok going legendary here, and I think actually Ricky playing that pretty well. Got the early pick on Aphelios. He's the only one you can really get a pick on in this team because they're kind of playing separated. Lulu was with him. Looks like he's going to walk into 4 people here. That is a mistake. That's going to be 2 more kills for Bay State and a Baron on top.
Yeah, this is really, yeah, just almost demoralizing for St. Clair. I mean, they lost that early lead, and they're just being punished for it over and over again in their own jungle. While they still have inner turrets up too, so they should have a safe spot to farm out behind there, but they're really just not having it. Bay State is not letting them have that, and they're really keeping the pressure up with this Orianna and the Jarvan combo.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like there's only so much you can do when the Jarvan has so much. You can just kind of walk up, especially with the Lulu shields on top of him. He can just walk up and EQ you wherever he wants. He's not worried about taking damage. He's not worried about, even getting low because he's just so far ahead. He can EQ Gore Drinker on top of you. He's got the Sterix now. Lulu sitting at 2.5 items. I just don't see how St. Clair even fight for this. No, Karma's going to try and get away with that Trillia, but that's not going to be enough. She is going to go down to this. Oh, looks like Set going to come in here, pop the shield off of the Orianna, which is actually huge. He's going to get the W just a moment. A lot of true damage go down there, but that's going to be it. Serenok picking up the kill onto him, and the rest of St. Clair running away with nothing to do, nothing to get. You just, yeah. What do you do at this point?
Yeah, they're running it down mid lane with the Baron. Jarvan all going to come out on Varus. Varus going to flash away. Yeah, they're probably going to be able to get an inhib here, if not more. And that Drake is just theirs for the taking at this point. I liked the way St. Clair was trying to set up there, but they really just don't have the resources to fight it out.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be the end of the game here. They will take one turret, at least for the moment. Redemption going to come down and going to heal the entire team up. They are going to pick up the second one here. Last ditch effort by St. Clair here. Lulu going to ult the Jarvan. He's going to stay alive here for the moment. Jarvan going to try and walk out. Orianna ult going to go down onto the top. Ehug going to die instantly. Not even an ult coming out. Big W actually is going to get 1. They're going to pick up 2 kills. Ricky going to get a big W. He does get the Orianna here. 3 still alive here for the side of Bay State. Can they keep this alive? The Nexus down to half HP. Jarvan going to go in here. Gnar going to Gnar out. Gonna get the R here. Karma gonna Zhonya's for the moment, but she is gonna go down in just a second here as well. Nexus gonna go down first. And Bay State take this game in formidable fashion.
Yeah, Bay State, they played beautifully there. They played coordinated, concise. They knew who they were gonna pick before you could tell, like, they saw them caught out in the jungle. They said, we're killing this kindred. All of us are grouping up on this kindred, and that really just snowballed the game.
Yeah, I definitely think the St. Clair didn't quite play to what their game plan should have been. I think, playing around that top lane, you had the top lane advantage with the set over the Gnar. Obviously, we saw a lot of that in the early game, and he kind of, had his advantage in the top lane, but a couple of skirmishes, especially that early skirmish when Kindred tried to invade the red on Jarvan, really not quite what you want to do when you're Kindred. Wasn't quite sure that was. I mean, obviously, I think the way Ehug might have thought about it was, the mark is in the top on the top scuttle, so Jarvan might think I'm going up there, so I'm going to get his red. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out. And he didn't have the ward to, check if the red buff was there. So Jarvan did get the pick there. And after that, it kind of just snowballed, especially after they tried to invade on that Jarvan blue, and then they died again. It just seemed like after that, it was just a cascade of walking too far up, going for too many plays when you just at that point just got to say, okay, we got to farm it out. We got to calm this game down. And Bay State said, we don't want none of that.
Yeah, at that point, St. Clair was down in almost every lane, and they kept trying to push these plays. You could see, especially in the bot lane, because they did still have a bit of an advantage in the bot lane, but then we just saw these TPs come out, and every time, even if St. Clair was getting a kill or two, we would see Bay State just coming out on top. They would come out 3-4 kills, and it's just what can you do at that point?
Yeah, I think especially there was a lot of times Barlow did get caught out in that mid lane here. I think so. What you want to do as an ADC is once the ball lane seems like you're not really going to be able to do much down there, you move to mid lane, you start farming. But you have to remember, it's a Jarvan Orianna. That is an insane amount of mobility, especially with the Lulu. It's an insane amount of mobility, and especially when he's that far ahead, you just have to kind of respect him a lot more than maybe they were doing. And I think just small mistakes. Obviously, like we said, it's preseason. It's the first game they've ever played together. So it was a challenging team comp to try and play around. I think Ricky did really well in the top lane there. He actually ended up going even in that game. Did everything he possibly could to try and keep his team in the game. But at that point, the Orianna's 17-10. What are you going to do, right?
Yeah, it really was looking like that said. Ricky, he could have saved a couple of those fights, but he was just too far out from his team. He got that pick on the Aphelios in the last one in St. Clair's red side, but the 4 of the Bay State members are just top lane, just absolutely cleaning up the rest of St. Clair, so...
Yeah, so that's going to be it. Looks like BSU is going to take this game 1-0 in some League of Legends preseason action. We're going to have another game here in just a little bit. We're going to have them playing against Grandview University. So you're going to see that in just a few minutes here. This game goes to Bay State. We're going to see St. Clair again. Hopefully get some redemption here in game number 2. Take some notes from this game, see what you can do to improve, and come up for a better showing in game number 2. Okay.
Yeah, I'd really like St. Clair to play around their vision a little more.
I think so. Yeah, and I think, too, obviously these guys are new. They haven't played together before. I think maybe you want to try a team comp that's a lot easier to pull off. I think this one had a lot of challenges, especially, getting the Kindred ahead early, being able to try and stabilize that Jarvan Orianna in the mid lane. Lysandra, like we said, we hadn't really seen a lot. She's not really a top tier pick right now. So a lot of times, yes, you may be comfortable on a champion, but you kind of need to play those top tier champions to keep yourself, relevant in a game. So definitely something to think about. And I do think, as much as that Varus, as Barlow was struggling, obviously when the Orianna and Jarvan are that far ahead, he did really well in that ball lane. That Lulu picked up, 2, 3, 4 kills in the early game, and they were still winning in that ball lane 2v2.
Yeah, we saw Barlow out there. They were winning almost every single trade down there, and yeah, it really could have come down to that bot lane. Unfortunately, obviously the Orianna and the Jarvan just too ahead, but yeah, I do think that bot lane combo, they do have very nice synergy.
Yeah, I think Fresh was really good as a support. Barlow doing pretty well for himself too. That's going to be it though. Thank you all for joining us. I want to thank especially our sponsors for this season. We got Crunchyroll. We got a 14-day subscription you can get for free if you put in your code there at crunchyroll.com/saints. I want to thank these guys. First year, we have these guys as our sponsors, and it's pretty sick, I have to say, to have Crunchyroll as a sponsor. So thank you to them. I want to thank Tim Hortons as well. I want to thank Subway, the SRC, and St. Clair College Alumni Association, all those guys supporting us for a long time. Appreciate you a lot. So any last notes here?
Yeah, glad to be here. Not the greatest way to start off the season for St. Clair, but we'll see how they play in this next game. You know, they got a second to take a breather here, kind of reset their mental a little bit, and you know, I'd like to see them pick a more easier team comp to play when they haven't had so much practice. The next game is going to be at 7 p.m., so stay tuned for that.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining us. John Billabang Zudima.
I'm Josh Fundy Pafundi.
Thank you all for being here. 7 o'clock, we'll be back. Join us, and we'll see what St. Clair can do right then. Thank you all. Have a good couple minutes break, and we'll be back. Hello everyone, welcome to game number 2 of the evening. I'm John Billbang Zudima, and I have a new co-caster with me. So this is Ashton Ashnutter. How are you doing today, Ash?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited for this game. I think as of right now, it could be anyone's game, you know. It's pretty evenly matched as far as I know.
Yeah, so both these teams, obviously St. Clair not doing too well in their last one, fell pretty hard there in game number 1 of the preseason. It was a pretty one-sided affair from, almost from the get-go, from like the first 4 or 5 minutes after that scuffle and bot. So what do you think St. Clair changes going here in the game number 2 of the evening?
Honestly, I think they're going to have to play a lot more carefully. Or not carefully, but I think they're going to think they have to, because they got murked pretty hard in that last game. And after a game like that, it's kind of hard to not feel like you have to be careful. Because, that was a little weird.
Yeah,
how bad that was.
Yeah, it was definitely not. And obviously we are in preseason, like you're saying. The games aren't going to matter as much going into this regular season. You do kind of want to try stuff out and see what happens going into, try different champions out, try different combos out, try different team comps out, to see what pops up. Obviously, like we said, they didn't exactly follow the game plan they might have thought about going into that game. So something to think about. Maybe they want to try and lay back a bit, play a lot more controlled, because as much as it doesn't matter, you do kind of want to get as much practice in as you can. And if a game's only going to go to 20 minutes or so, you're not really getting in a lot of valuable practice time.
Yeah, and especially like you said, these games aren't like max priority right now. So during this new patch, especially that just came out, you gotta try new things. You gotta see what works. You gotta experiment a little bit. You can't just keep going with the same stuff, because it might not work as well now.
Yeah, for sure. And we saw Ricky, I think last game, did really, really well for himself. He was 6-6. A lot of people struggled in that game, especially the mid jungle. So looks like we are going to be getting into picks and bans here. First, bans are going out really quick here. St. Clair banning Echo and Gwen. The Aatrox ban from GBU. And we did talk about there was 3 top bans that came from Bay State in that last series. And Ricky still popped off. So definitely something to think about coming into this next game.
There we go. Got our second ban for GVU. That's, I believe, Zyra?
Syndra.
Syndra, yeah.
So Syndra's that second ban. We got Zed as well. And we got Graves actually is going to be the third ban for GVU. So a lot of power picks in those bans from GVU. But a lot of, I feel like, obviously Echo and Gwen, both very prominent champions right now. Kiana is actually going to be the first pick for St. Clair. And she did get buffed in this patch. So she is going to be a lot more potent here on patch 11.18. So definitely a power pick. And it is going to be going to that mid lane. So like we said in that last game, definitely struggle a little bit. They are going to have a new mid laner here. Their sub is going to be playing for them in this game. So obviously a little bit of a change there. How do you think that's going to affect the jungle mid dynamic?
That's a good question. Honestly, I don't know how to answer that, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely, for the jungle mid, obviously last game they did struggle quite a bit on St. Clair's side. So you're going to have to think a lot about, do you want to go for that early game agency? Oh, okay. So yeah, so like you said, it's going to be a different mid laner. So the jungle mid dynamic is definitely going to be different here in game number 2. Zaya is going to be picked from GBU. So we are going to see possibly a Rakan answer for St. Clair. Yeah, so they want to take that duo away from the bot lane. Zaya and Rakan actually have slight buffs to each other when they're on the same team. So you kind of want to take that away from the other team, giving them not a possibility. And the Trundle pick for GBU is big. He can be flexed between support and top lane and jungle. So he did get in this patch a small, I guess it was a change. So his pillar, which is really good for support, was taken away, and they buffed a little bit of his durability. So he is probably going towards the the jungle top lane. And the last 2 picks are going to be Aphelios and Nautilus.
I think that Nautilus pick is going to be very good for the reach out. He's going to be able to start a lot of fights there.
Yeah, a good hook ability here. Jax is going to be banned away from Ricky yet again. So we do see, like in last game, you got the Aatrox ban and the Jax ban going his way. So definitely, teams are already watching out for this guy even early into this preseason.
Yeah, he's definitely making sure to get Jax out of that game. Seems in these last 2 games, he's trying his absolute best to make sure he's not going up against that champion.
Yeah, for sure. So it looks like Yon will be banned away for St. Clair, and we have 2 bans left. It does seem like there's a lot of I don't call them solo queue champions, but a lot of very assassin-heavy bans. Echo, Zed, and Dion all banned away from St. Clair on GVU there. Yasuo is going to be the final ban for GVU, and the Irelia is going to be the answer. Irelia, super good pick right now on both top and mid, so a lot of priority on that ban. And looks like Gnar is going to be the 4th pick here for GVU, which means Trundle will be going into that jungle role. So all that's left is the mid laners here, or the mid laner for GVU and the top and mid lane for SCC.
I'm assuming that Gnar is going to be the same player as the last game.
Oh,
so...
it's his new team, GVU.
Oh, new team.
Yeah, so they're playing, yes, they're playing Grand Bayou, so it's going to be a new player. Zoe is going to be the mid pick for St. Clair here, so I don't know if I like the Zoe pick. Obviously, it is very strong. It did get a buff on her Sleepy Trouble Bubble, so she is slightly stronger. But I feel like with the Nautilus hook, with the Trundle, and with the Gnar rundown, it is going to be really hard for this Zoe to try and survive all of this engage potential from GVU. Looks like last pick will be up in just a moment here for St. Clair. They are going to pick the Scion in the top lane. So it does, yeah, they needed the tankiness. They needed that rock on the top. Against that Gnar, I think Gnar is going to win that matchup pretty easily, but Scion obviously always going to stay relevant, always going to be super tanky.
He's a more of a safer pick, honestly. But still, like you said, going up against Gnar, that's
it's a tough matchup, for sure. Because Gnar is going to poke him up pretty well early, but again, he is just kind of picking up his stats, picking up more health, and he's going to become a tank, and he's going to be a lot more effective in late game. We have an Ari pick actually, so definitely something we've seen rising in priority a lot more. Hasn't been seen in quite a few years, but this last year it's made quite a big appearance in both LEC and LCS. So a lot of pro players picking up Ari. So that is going to be going into the mid lane into this Zoe. So definitely going to be an interesting matchup. Zoe can struggle quite a bit going up against Ari because of that charm. If she tries to dash forward with her R, Ari can land a stun or land a charm and almost full kill you. And there's not much you can do about it. So the Zoe is going to be really effective with that long range poke, because it seems like GVU definitely lacks a lot of long range options here with that Ari. Yeah, so that is going to be our final draft here. So last pick was going to be Ari. What do you think? Obviously, can't see the draft right now, but how do you think St. Clair plays this differently than they did the last game?
Honestly, I think, honestly, they might try for that level 1 like the other team did last time. Because, well, like they tried last time. It didn't work as much as they thought it would in the last game. But they seemed really adamant on that choice. Like they were going to go in for it, and last second they just backed out. So I'd like to see if that would work out this time. But you never know.
Yeah, so it looks like their picks and are going to come through here. And the Trundle in the jungle, obviously, like I said, it did get buffed, so it is going to be more effective. Oh, and it looks like Kiana's actually going to be going into the jungle here. I did forget about that pick. So, Kiana jungle into the Trundle. I think Kiana's really going to struggle here. Obviously, she did get a jungle buff slightly in the last patch, so she's okay. She was a really big jungle pick actually 2 years ago. A lot of people were playing her in the jungle, but she got heavily nerfed. So definitely E-Hug going for an aggressive jungle pick here. We were talking about actually after he is a very good Kindred player. And he plays it a lot, so it is interesting to see. You know, didn't get banned, but he didn't end up picking it, trying to go for something new. Do you think it's more about comfort, or do you think maybe he is, you know, not feeling as good about his Kindred after that first game?
Honestly, after that first game, I would not be feeling too good about playing that champion. But it could be just for the comfort. Honestly, I'm kind of going more towards that.
Yeah, I think so
first
too.
game though.
Yeah, I think the first game just kind of shook him up. Obviously, it's a champion play all the time, and there are games where you're gonna have a really rough time. But it just seemed like a lot of facets of the game he was kind of surprised. He's getting caught out quite a bit by this Jarvan, playing really aggressive when he probably should have just been farming and focusing on that. So definitely seeing the Kiana jungle here, interesting pick. We'll see what it has. A lot of potential. It doesn't really win very well into the Trundle, but its ganks are going to be very potent. So Gnar advantage in the top lane. I think overall, again, we're seeing an Aphelios in the bot lane. The pick is good, but like we saw in the last game, it's very susceptible to a lot of this early game madness that the side of GVU is going to have. So Aphelios is going to have to be very careful. Barlow, I think he did really well in that Varus last game. Actually, did get picked off quite a bit in mid, but in that 2v2 lane, him and Fresh in the bot lane looked really good. So do you think they try and focus more on that bot lane, or maybe, you know, think about trying to repair that mid jungle problem that last game had?
Honestly, I think they should probably focus on mid jungle. If they can get a decent mid jungle going at the beginning, I think they could. Even if bot lane is not doing well, they could come in and help pretty well. Bot lane seemed to hold off pretty well last game for a while there, so I think they're probably going to be fine. It's jungle and mid that I'm a little worried about for this game.
Yeah, for sure. So like we said, we are going to have a different mid laner for St. Clair. So it is going to be interesting to see how that one works out for these guys. And, you know, top lane, Ricky did really well last game. He is going to be on the Scion, so it is going to be into Anar again, but he's not going to have the same agency that he did last game. I think he was that top lane matchup. He was winning in that one. He was doing pretty well. This one, he kind of just has to absorb the pressure and just sit up there and farm. But you do have the Aphelios to play for. Last game, you had the Karma and Varus in the bot lane, which is pretty good early to mid game, but then falls off at the end. Aphelios, pretty much the opposite. It doesn't do too well early to mid, but then once you get like towards the mid late game, that's when Aphelios comes online and can just, you know, wipe a team, as we've seen many times. It can just totally wipe out a team by himself. So different style that we're playing this time, and I think, like I said earlier, it is going to be a little bit of an easier team comp to play around. Obviously, you just kind of wait for the Scion to get tanky, wait for Aphelios to get a few items, and just try and play as much around that jungle as you can, because the Kiana is going to have very good ganks, so you kind of just got to wait for come in your lane to try something. But what do you think the GVU tries to do in this game?
Honestly, I think I've never seen their type of gameplay before, but they might go for a little bit of an aggressive start to stop that Scion from getting too tanky.
Yeah.
And I think that would probably create an easy rest of the game for them if they were to just, you know, focus on where they're gonna have troubles later in the game.
Yeah.
So
and
yeah.
I think Scion too, with the Trundle ult that takes all of his stats, or takes a lot of his stats, it's going to help him out a lot, especially in those ganks. If Nar gets ahead, it's going to be a really rough game for this top half, because as a Kiana, it's going to be really tough unless he's in mini form to burst him out. And he has a lot of escape options, so it's going to be, I think it's going to be really tough for that to happen. Bot lane, the Xayah Nautilus lane, I think is really good, especially if you can, you know, if you land a big hook early onto this Aphelios, he's going to have a really rough time trying to get out. If you burn his flash early, I think Trundle is a lot easier of a gank to try and handle, and if you pick up that R on Nautilus, it's kind of just a free kill on Aphelios if he doesn't have flash. So I think it's really going to be up to Barlow to have really good positioning, make sure he checks everything if they try and push up in this lane. And I don't think it's going to be as much of a free push as last game. Obviously, we saw Set and the Varus Karma last game just kind of pushing up in their lanes, forcing stuff, because Jarvan was all over the mid lane. So they kind of got themselves a little bit of lane advantage. Obviously, it didn't work out because that Orianna Jarvan was so far ahead. But this game, do you think we see some more of that forward play from these guys? Or do you think, you know, obviously last game, totally different. They had way more agency in the last game. Not going to have quite the advantage that they will in this game. So do you think they play it differently, or do you think they keep going aggressive because they feel confident?
This is for St. Clair?
Yeah, for St. Clair.
I think I think they're going to play a lot more calmly, if that's the word. I think they're going to be careful. Controlled, yeah. They went for the aggressive play last time. It did not work out. They kind of just gave up halfway through on the play, and it was a little weird, because they definitely could have gotten a decent start there.
Yeah, for sure. So we are going to be loading into the Rift here in just a second. Game number 2 of the day, SCC versus GVU. Here we go, game number 2, looking for St. Clair to try and redeem themselves after a pretty rough game 1. So looks like both teams going to be, it looks like St. Clair, again, we are going to have Zephyr, not quite sure, sorry. Zephyrot, I'm going to go Zephyrot. Zephyrot, that's what it is. Okay, boom, got it. So Zephyrot in the mid lane here, and looks like the game is, oh, there we go. So we got Zephyrot in the mid lane now for St. Clair. He is going to be a game changer here. He does bring the Ignite. while Ari and Nar both had the TP. So he is looking to try and get that early pick, especially with the Kiana. A lot of pick potential between those two characters. So looks like they are going to rush to this bot lane tri-bush, and they are going to stick around here for a bit. Just a standard spread from Grandview covering all the ins and outs. So a lot of times you'll see these guys at the starts of games, they'll either go towards this mid here where they're pinging, or they'll go spread out like they do, so they're covering all the entrances of anywhere that the invade could come from. So looks like GVU took the standard route where they're all just kind of holding the entrances, making sure they can't come in anywhere.
They are being careful, making sure there's not an early evade, which is understandable because the whole team did crowd up at the very beginning. They could have taken that as they're going to invade right into their jungle, but seems not so.
They decided they didn't want to. Looks like actually it's going to be a late invade from GVU here. They're going to be spotted out on the ward though, so they will be seen, and both teams will know that this is being taken by Trundle. So early invade here on the red buff by the guys from GVU. Trundle will take this one early, and looks like he'll probably just continue to clear that bot side. Sion going to get an early fight here with Nar. Does land the Q. Nar trades back with a Q of his own, so pretty even trade there, but grass proc. And Electrocute going to go down onto the Zoe as well. So a lot of poke damage from GVU early, give themselves a little bit of an advantage here. And it looks like, I think that, looks like another Q. A lot of fighting here. Looks like a good hook there by Nasus, but the aftershock going to save him a lot of damage. Lots of trading going on here, and a surprising amount of trading going on in the top lane as well.
So far this does seem pretty even in bot lane for the trading. They're taking about the same amount of health.
Yeah, looks like top lane Sion is kind of getting poked out here as we expected. He will be absorbing a lot of damage by this Nar,
he's taking a lot more than he
looks like they're going to hit level 2. Khan going to go in here. He's going to get ignited here. Looks like the E from the Zaya is going to be good. Fresh going to go down first blood here. Aphelios looking for something here, but he doesn't really have that much damage to start out this game. A lot of life still here. Keep him alive here for the second. Root coming up. Going to take a tower shot actually, but does stay alive. So first blood going over to GVU. Good attempt there by the Recon, but he did end up getting caught up in that Nautilus hook. And looks like Dive going to come down here on Aphelios. He's not going to have very long to live. He's going to die on the turret here. Shot's going to go down onto Trundle, but it's not going to be enough. He is going to live, and Dive is successful for GVU, and 2-0 for the side of Grandview to start off this game. Diana going to come in for mid lane though. She's going to go for the gank. Good flash by Ari to keep herself alive, and that's going to be a clean 2-0 to start off this game from GVU.
It seems like they're pretty decent in mid lane right now. It doesn't really look like anyone's taking that much of a head start in mid lane, unlike bot lane.
That was a close charm. Trundle gonna walk through mid here. Looks like Zoe is gonna go for the bubble here, but they don't realize Nara is coming down. Flash instantly from Kiana to get herself out of there. Zoe's gonna flash as well. That's gonna be 2 flashes down. Nara gonna E over. He is gonna just take a tower shot and leave, but flash is burned on both jungler and the mid lane for St. Clair. Is not good for how they want to start this game.
Not too much have been accomplished there, but they're going back in.
He's gonna pop right back out of there. Fresh did not want any of that smoke.
So they do seem to be heavily staying in mid lane here. Seems like they want to make sure that they get ahead there, but both junglers are staying mid lane.
Oh no, big E from Zaya. I feel like he's gonna stay alive for the moment, but Barlow bitten off a little bit more than he can chew here in the bot lane.
He might have to back. Nope, he's gonna use his heal and stay for a little bit longer.
Yeah, so it's definitely Zaya picked up level 3 halfway through that wave and just played that flawlessly, landed a really good E, a lot of damage onto this Aphelios, and things not looking too good to start off this game here for St. Clair in the bot lane.
I will say starting off with 0-2 is not very good. They might be a little bit demoralized with that.
Yeah, and I think, like we were saying earlier, they played really well in that last game, like Barlow and Fresh. But I think the reason they played so well and they were playing so aggressively is because the Varus Karma has a lot more ability to take advantage early compared to this Recon Aphelios. This is definitely more played for the late game. And Kiana already flashless. Looks like she will come for the lane gank here. Gonna walk through this bush. We'll get this root down on. Oh, look like quick flash by Nar is gonna stay alive. He won't get the Mega Nar here. Oh, he's going to stay alive for the moment, but Nautilus going to go aggressive here. Recon full HP, Aphelios not so much. Flash going to go down here. They're going to get that E down onto Barlow. He's going to go die, and Zaya is going to pick up that couple more autos here. He's not going to have that Q available, so she can't quite kill him. But another kill on the bot lane there, and Barlow just kind of getting bullied here at the start of this game.
Gnar has Gnar'd out, and he's trying to go for a more aggressive approach now, getting Sion away from his tower. Oh, he's going to go for that back now, which he is going to miss a little bit of CS for that, probably, and let Sion get a couple hits on his tower, but oh no, he's decided to stay.
Yeah, so bot lane advantage did give a free dragon over to GBU, so Cloud Drake early here for them, a little bit of extra ultimate cooldowns here when they hit level 6. Nothing too significant though, and more surprising to me that Sion is up by about 10 farm right now. Obviously, Gnar is going to catch a lot of that in the tower, but Sion taking advantage in this mid lane is actually very surprising because I thought he was losing that lane pretty hard early. Looks like mid lane, Zoe is going to be walking up towards this Kiana, but now Nautilus is there too. This is looking kind of dangerous. Nautilus might be coming in here. He's going to get caught up by that hook. Dredgeline going to go down onto this Sion. Sion is going to survive just for the moment. He's actually stay alive here. Gnar looking like he wants Gnar out here in just a second. Sion's staying. He's not level 6 yet though. This is dangerous. Trundle's coming up as well. He does pick up that level 6. Gnar is going to have ult as well, and he's going to go down here and just, oh, big shield W from Ricky to keep himself alive.
Good play. He's going to get out of there. He will have to back, but at least that's not another kill for the Grandview University.
That is Ricky dancing with death in the top line. No mana, no HP, says it's okay. I wanted to get another minion before I left, so he stays alive here for the moment. TP going to go down here actually onto this board. He doesn't have Kiana as backup. Yeah, does have ult. Oh, big dodge on the dredge line there, though. He's going to stay alive. He does pick up a lot of CC here from the Sion. He's staying alive still. Zoe finally going to join. Does miss Sleepy Trouble, but Kiana looking for that Q. Does manage to get Eric Ziyang in the jungle there. Trundle punished for his aggressiveness. And blue buff picked up by Kiana. Doesn't have ult yet, so she can't quite stop this Nautilus. Oh, good hook.
I sort of feel like that was
Zoe,
a bit of a
looks like
TP.
a lot. Mari is going to be in the bot lane, though. Barlow is going to go down here in a moment. Rakan going to try and run away here. Does manage to hit that W onto the Gnar. Keeps himself alive for the moment, but it's not going to be enough. Ooh, big flash is going to have to be used there. But Barlow, again, playing too aggressive. And just, you know, a good catch in the jungle onto that Trundle is just neutralized by it being too aggressive here in the bot lane.
Yeah, I do feel like that Mundo did kind of rage TP into that fight, which Sion, yeah, my bad. He did kind of rage TP into that fight, which it didn't pay off too much for him, but they did get a kill in the end of it.
Yeah, I think it was a good TP. Did pick up that Bramble Vest, so he was able to stay alive for a lot longer than expected in that top lane fight, and they did end up getting a kill for it. But you know, Zoe roamed towards the fight. Ari decided, okay, you know what? I can go bot lane. I can pick up Meslo decided that he wanted to go bot lane. Not enough respect shown by Barlow and Fresh, and it results in Barlow going down, and that advantage they picked up in the jungle is just, you know, taken away. It's 300 gold for 300 gold. So, you know, well played by St. Clair. It is definitely encouraging to pick up a kill there.
Yeah.
At least they're getting something back, but Barlow definitely playing too aggressive here.
Oh,
and
it is a game pause.
yeah, so it looks like we may have some ping issues by the jungler from Grandview, so we're gonna have a momentary pause here. But let's take a step back then. Let's take a look at this game. 4-1 the scoreline right now. Grandview up by about 1,500 gold. Obviously, this early in the game, it's pretty significant, but I mean, a lot of that gold obviously is pretty spread out. A kill for, you know, just about everyone in GVU except for Gnar, and 3 deaths for that Aphelios in the bot lane. And like I said before, Barlow was allowed to kind of play aggressive in the last game. This game, Aphelios is not as forgiving as the Karma Virus is, so he's definitely getting punished for that. What do you think St. Clair does to try and, you know, stifle this early game push from GVU?
I do gotta say, I think they should focus on the more fed people, which everyone's kind of the same. I shouldn't say fed on the other team. Everyone has pretty much 1 kill except for the Gnar on Grandview. So if I were them, I'd focus a little bit on that Trundle. He could be a little bit of a problem, maybe Gnar, but Gnar does not have a kill yet. Yeah,
I think what you do have to think about is trying to funnel this Kiana, because Kiana is pretty good in this early game, and when she just picked up her ult level 6, so she is definitely going to have a lot more agency here in the game. But at the 1-0, she's doing pretty good. Obviously, Ethug's feeling a lot better than he was this game than he was last game. I think he was like 1-4 at this point or something last game, so he's feeling a lot better in this one.
Oh,
Looks
we're
like
back in
there
it.
we go. So like I said, Ethug being ahead here does have the only kill for the side of St. Clair here. So what you really need to do is just have Aphelios and Rakan just try and, play very conservatively. Try, not die in that bot lane. Try and keep themselves alive for as long as possible. Because at this point, you're 0-3. You kind of realize, like, obviously they're playing too aggressive. You need to try and back off, play safe. Having a Rakan for the peel is nice, but the Nautilus engage is really hard to control. So definitely going to be something to think about going into the rest of this game. So it looks like bot lane here is just going to be kind of stagnant. Level 6 on Barlow, level 5 on Rakan, so it doesn't quite have that ultimate available to him yet. Big wave crashing here in the top lane. Sion and Nar going pretty even. Oh, big sleep by Zoe actually. Is not gonna go for the Q actually, just gonna go for the sleep. Make Ari a little scared and not really do too much about it. Trundle just farming the jungle along with Kiana, just going for that bot clear. Kiana gonna back. I'm assuming she has probably enough gold here to back for a full item, or at least close to it.
Oh,
So
this could be a play by Zoe. Oh no, Zoe's taking a lot of
big
damage.
burst.
This is pretty even right now.
Yeah, so it looks like they're just going to poke each other out, not really going to do too much. Jungle was not on the map, not visible on any wards, so Ari not going to go for that kill. She does have her ult available, but was not sure where the jungler was, so did have to play pretty safe.
I will say it seems like after everything that's happened so far in this game, Nar and Sion are still going pretty even. Oh, well actually now...
This might not be good.
Yeah, Sion might be in a bad spot here. Nar's going in for that kill. He's pretty close. Oh, Kiana's coming in for the help.
Oh,
that's a revive. Yeah, no, poor Nar there.
Yeah, so you actually got a trade there. It was really big for the Nar to end up getting that kill, because if it was just a clean 1 for 2, definitely would have been an advantage down. But a lot of plates being taken down bot. So Trundle going to be answering that top gank with a gank and bot of his own. And Aphelios and Rakan being so far behind. Yeah, so they did end up getting that first turret. Rakan being... Aphelios being so far behind does mean that they had to back off, give respect to that Trundle. And it also means there's a free dragon for GBU to take here.
So it does seem like that drag is going to be uncontested.
So second Drake is going to go over to GBU here. Looks like it will be a Infernal or a... Yeah, so it will be Inferno Soul. So 2 drags away for the GVU members there. And obviously, like we said, Kiana being 2-0 is definitely helping them out. But it's so hard now because you took that bot turret really early and Nar gets to swap out of that lane. And you still have, 2.5 minutes to try and take some plates for this Xayah Nautilus. And they're so far ahead at this point. Looks like actually they're not going to contest this. I'm surprised. I thought they would contest this Rift Herald, but it looks like... Oh, they're thinking about it. Xayah Nautilus here in mid, but I think they're just going to give it up, just accept the fact that it's not there. There's a lot of poke by Zoe, but she misses the Q. That's not what you want to see from your mid laner. Good smite. And it looks like St. Clair is going to be able to take that Rift Herald uncontested. Will they be able to get out? Yes. So, a good objective by them. They were able to pick up the... Oh, Ignite going to go down here. Heal from Xayah. Is she going to die, though? Yes! Zephyros picking up a massive kill onto that Xayah. Big pick and hope for St. Clair in this game number 2.
Now, Ari did come up top lane and switch with Nar, so maybe she might have a little bit more luck against the Sion.
Yeah, looks like Sion going to land a nice E, though. Oh, big sleep from the Zoe. A big, nice shot.
Just got instantly deleted there.
Yeah, so all the advantage that they had in this top lane is now gone. Really good sleeps by Zoe in the mid lane.
Trundle
this is dangerous. Trundle, you do not want to be here. This is not where you want to be, dude.
No, that was a bad play by him.
He's going to stay alive for the moment. Picked up all the stats from the Scion, so was pretty tanky. He will stay alive. Nautilus going to come up here to help him out. But a couple of big sleepy trouble bubbles by Zoe does get a kill on Xayah and a kill on the Ari. So definitely St. Clair looking like they have a lot of life left in them. And the game is looking pretty, not quite even, still down by 2K, but looking a lot better than it was 5 minutes ago.
Definitely. So it seems like Xayah's getting some easy plates in mid. No one's really coming after her. Actually, no, it seems like... Oh, who's that? Aphelios coming up to mid?
Yeah, Aphelios looks like... Oh, big flash. Flash can be traded out. Rakan looking for the ult, but not going to find anything there. So, flash is traded from the support, or from the ADC, sorry, and the top laner. Big sleepy trouble bubble. Oh, does land it. And those Sleepy Troubles are going to start really hurting here in a few minutes. Zoe going to pick up the Ludens sometime soon, and when she does that, that is really going to hurt. So, well played by St. Clair, using that Zoe a lot more effectively now. Kiana going to throw down Rift Herald in mid lane here, so it looks like they will get these plates, so a little bit of extra gold in the pockets of the St. Clair members. So, gold, still about 2k deficit, but looks like a lot of it's going to be pretty spread out between GBU, and a lot of it's going to be on Kiana and Zoe in the mid lane for St. Clair.
Seems like they're going heavily into that ARAM play down mid, but now they're starting to spread off, maybe break down towards bot lane. That Gnar anyway.
Yeah, so our looks like Xayah and Nautilus are going to be backing in the mid lane. Ari respecting is Zoe in the top lane, not allowing her. Although she does have better items right now than Zoe. Oh, big charm from the Ari, is going to get a pick on a Zephyros here. Ult going to go down once, looking for that second one. Misses the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Has to flash out. Oh, the Q is just barely going to land on a Zephyros there. And Ari going to pick up a kill on her own terms. Looks like Aphelios, he's going to be alive here. You can just stay under turret. Root going to go down, but that is a massive kill from Meslo in the mid lane there onto Zephyros. Zephyros was doing pretty well, but just played that really well, played it extensively, and didn't allow that Sleepy Trouble Bubble to hit her, which was what's really made the difference there. Both mid laners flashing, but Meslo...
Seems like Grandview is really trying to push for that ARAM play down the mid, get those towers out of the way, and it seems like St. Clair is just now trying to come up and stop it, but they were not really paying attention to mid lane for a while.
Yeah, they had to give that up. They had to. They're far enough behind in their bot lane that they have to kind of give up objectives, at least for the moment. Because at this point, if you try and fight them, you're not going to win those fights. Because you can see the Aphelios still not have on an item. The Xayah is at an item and boots and 2 longswords, so significantly farther ahead. But looks like they are going to try and answer. The Zoe is going to do a lot of damage right now. Sion, just kind of absorbing what this Gnar has to throw at him for the moment, so he'll be okay. Once Gnar picks up his, sorry, I forget the name of the item that he takes off. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, once Gnar picks up his full item, he'll be a lot more potent to the Sion. But Sion right now, he's going to have the advantage. Going for the R. Big flash by Gnar. Looks like Trade's going to go across the map. Big R by Gnar. Going to keep himself alive for the moment, but no, it's not going to be enough. Trade is going to go down onto the mid laner, though. Good ults by Nautilus. And Trade's going out across the map, but it does mean that it'll cost St. Clair a mid lane turret there.
They did prevent Gnar from getting his item for a little bit longer there, but you are correct. They did lose a tower. They're all going to go contest for this drag right now.
This could be a big steal from the jungler. Can Trundle flash over the wall and get it? He does! He gets the steal!
Oh, boy.
Trundle picks up the steal on that drag, and looks like the fight after is going to be a messy one. Charm onto this Kiana. Mishi's going to go down here with Moment Neslo. Picking up the kill on that one. They're going to try and run out of this. Can they run fast enough? GBU says no. We got you in our sights. We're going to run you down. Trundle picking up a kill onto Barlow. And it's just going to be Sion, the only one left here. Ricky going to go down here in just a second. Trundle picking up 2 for himself. And Gnar going to get that last kill onto the Sion. So, after all that, GVU picks up the Dragon, picks up 4 kills, and I guess 5 if you count the early pick onto the Zoe and the mid lane turret. That just went all sideways for St. Clair so quickly.
For a second there, I almost said Sion pulled a revive, then I remembered that that's his passive.
But yeah, so it looks like GVU extend their gold lead from about 2k to about 6k, pick up a mid lane turret, pick up the 3rd dragon on Soul Point now at just 17 minutes. Things are not looking good for St. Clair here in game number 2.
Trundle is going in to take that tower, it seems like. No, he's just
pretty aggressive, actually. Sion does TP to this, but he doesn't realize that Xayah is also here. Looks like Nautilus is picking up the backside as well. Good route there by Etha. Going to pick up here, there. Trundle is going to get knocked up here. He's going to be in 4 members of St. Clair. Good route there by Aphelios, but he's going to stay alive. But Kiana finally ate that shutdown, but big damage by Xayah onto Rakan. Rakan stays alive. Huge heals. Meanwhile, Zoe picks up a kill in the mid lane onto this Ari. Sion going to go for this tower dive on Nautilus. Gets the knock up. Gets the double knock up. But meanwhile, oh, big E by Xayah. Going to keep himself alive. Double kill. It looks like they're going to be looking for more. Sion going for this kill on the turret. He's going to go for the plate damage actually on turret. Oh, Aphelios can land that route. Gnar is going to be up here in the top lane looking for this kill onto the Kiana. Is going to get that lost auto. Oh, she's going to survive for the moment. Big root. Keeps himself alive. He is going to Gnar out, though. Zoe going to try and help him out. Nautilus going to get the hook onto this Aphelios. Aphelios going to go down here in just a second. Xayah going to pick up another kill in the top lane. And looks like everyone else is going to survive. But just fighting happening all over the map. But St. Clair just doesn't seem to get an advantage in any of these fights.
St. Clair does seem to be falling behind these past 2 games. We don't know what's going on, but maybe they're just not feeling it today. Maybe it's just an off day for them.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of these mid-game fights, Zoe is pretty decently far ahead, but that Zai is just ruining them. She's at 2.5 items already, and Aphilio's just picked up his first one. They are so far ahead. I mean, it's good effort for trying. There was 4 of them. They did try for that top shove, but a really good route by Arian in the bot lane there meant that dive was just worthless. I mean, it's just so hard to try and play against Zaya when she's this far ahead.
So Sion is trying to get a little bit more CS down in bot lane, but it seems like something might be happening in mid lane up there.
Oh, looks like Ari gonna get a lot of damage on the Sion. Sion gonna answer back Ricky, giving her a little bit of a axe, but that's not gonna really do much. Looks like Nar has finished his Divine Thunder. That's the name of that item that I can now remember. And it does mean that splitting against him is going to be really tough for the Sion. So they're going to have to try and group up. Obviously, Kiana's still doing pretty well for herself. 3-1-1 there. Sion with a big ult towards the mid lane here. Going to see if he can pick anyone up. Oh, no, he's going to stop actually halfway through. Aphelios going for the ult. Completely whiffs right through the goalpost. Big knock up by 3 members of the big stopwatch to keep Nautilus alive. Looks like Zaya going for those autos. She's in the middle of 4 people. She gets shut down by the Sion, but it doesn't matter because they are running over this fight anyway. It is a 4-for-1. They finally take down that Zaya, but what did it cost? The entire St. Clair team.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a risky play, and it didn't really pay off for them. It seems the only person alive is the... I forget that.
Rakan. Rakan is the only one left here. And it looks like they're just going to try and run it down mid lane. Rakan Fresh going to do what he can, but he gets charmed anyway. He's going to go down to the Trundle, and that is a full 5-man death from St. Clair. An ace from GVU, and this game's looking pretty well out of hand so far.
I don't claim for a second to be better than any of those guys, but Rakan, I don't know if that play was such a good play.
I think it was fine if he managed to evade that charm, but because he didn't evade the charm, you couldn't really delay them and stop them from getting the inhibitor, which is what you really wanted to do, right? Because if you land a good ult, a good knock up there, at least you can delay for a second and get your team up. But unfortunately, he just couldn't really do that, and Meslo with a really good charm does mean that that delay does not happen. So 6-2-9 on the Zaya, 5-2-6 on this Trundle. Nautilus at 2-0-12 is doing really well for himself here. Soul Point coming up here in just a few seconds. So, good initiation there. Good knock up onto the 2 members of the bot lane there, but they're going to stay alive here for the moment. TP from Ari isn't coming back line here. Charmed up. Kiana's going to go down. Looks like Rakan going to go down as well. Aphelios going to be the only one left here in the back line. He's going to go down here in just a second. Zaya with a big ult to keep herself alive here. And looks like
The
Trundle
whole team
is going to go down 2, and that's going to be just about it. The GGs come through, and that is all she wrote. GVU take this in formidable fashion in 22 minutes. That is going to be it. Shelly will be knocking down these turrets here in just a moment, but GVU, much better mid-game. We're able to take advantage of that early bot lane pressure, and Shelly going to be knocking down that Nexus in just a second. We get to see her dance in just a second here. She is going to be dancing out, and that is going to be it for game number 2. GVU take it in dominant fashion. Yeah,
GVU was definitely impressive there. They pulled ahead with a high kill game, 24-8. I don't know. Like I said earlier, this has to be an off day for St. Clair. They're just not doing well today.
Yeah, I think more than anything that game, it was, again, St. Clair kind of getting into this mindset of, the early game was, last game, the early game wasn't so even. But this time, Kiana picked up a couple kills, Zoe picked up a couple good picks, and it was pretty even. But then they started losing fight after fight after fight after fight, and it just seemed like it was kind of the snowball effect of, like, because we lost this fight, we're going to lose this tower. So we have to go fight for this tower. But then you lose the tower, you lose the fight, and then you lose the dragon after. So it seemed like they just kind of needed to say, okay, we need to calm down. We need to just stop fighting, give them a couple objectives. And I think the real turning point that game, obviously the mid-fight where they went 4-for-1 was pretty bad. But they went back, they went to dragon, and then Trundle Flash stole that dragon. And after that, it was just chaos, and it just seemed like everything happened, death after death after death. And definitely shout out GVU, though. Played an excellent game.
It was definitely one of those games where no matter what you did after a certain point, there was always going to be a consequence to your action. there was no way after probably about mid-game that anything they could do would have only a positive effect for the rest of the game.
Yeah, it just seems like St. Clair, again, I think they definitely had a lot better jungle mid. I think this game, Barlow was getting really aggressive in that bot lane, wasn't really playing, with enough awareness. And it seemed like a lot of times, every time there was something that happened positive for St. Clair, there was an answer on the other side of the map. It seemed like, a lot of times there was a pick in mid, and then ADC and support would die in the bot lane. A pick in top, and then Trundle would come gank bot lane. They were getting dove. And it just seemed like every time St. Clair made a good play, there was a good answer from GVU. So definitely something to think about going into these next couple games. Obviously, both these games preseason, so not something that you have to worry about for your stat line going into the regular season, but a lot of stuff that St. Clair can look back on and say, okay, this is how we need to play early game. This is how we need to, kind of flesh out those little things and say, okay, we need to kind of calm down and just say, okay, this isn't solo queue. This is organized League of Legends. And if you try and, go for stuff when your team doesn't have an advantage or when you're not properly set up with vision, you're really going to have a tough time making plays.
And I will definitely say I was very happy to see that everyone on St. Clair was a good sport about the game at the end, all saying GG. Even though they lost, it's always nice to have a positive outlook on the end. And, a look back and, like you said, see what you can fix.
Yeah,
see what you did wrong, what could be done better.
Yeah, for sure. And I think really it comes down to playing around your vision. I think bot lane definitely was not having a great game there. There was a lot of times where there was something good that would happen in the jungle, or we saw there's good jungle pick, good top pick. And then bot lane, they'd be playing too aggressive. There would be an answer immediately as soon as it happened. Trundle was already down in the bot lane, or Ari was already down in the bot lane. And they were getting picked off, and it seemed like every time you picked up an advantage, it was just immediately taken away. So definitely something to think about going into the next game. Obviously, this game, you have to look back and say, okay, how do we improve? GVU, excellent game all around. Like I said, every time St. Clair did something, there was an answer from GVU, so they played that really well. And Nar absorbed the pressure pretty well on top lane, but their bot lane, that Nautilus looked unstoppable, hitting hooks left and right, hitting really, really good knockups when he needed to. And, there's just not much to say. I think the bot lane did pretty well, and overall, Trundle did a really good job. So, yeah. Thank you all for joining us. Just want to give a shout out to our sponsors here. Crunchyroll, like we said before, really good sponsor. Love having these guys on board. It's incredible that we got them. And you get a 14-day premium trial for free if you go to crunchyroll.com/Saints. Definitely take advantage of that. Who doesn't love good anime, right?
Yeah.
Right. So shout out to those guys. Thank you, St. Clair Alumni Association, the SRC, Subway, and Tim Hortons. These guys have been on this for a long time. I want to thank you again for sponsoring us and for letting us do what we do. John Billabang Zudima.
Ashton Ash Nutter.
And it's been a great cast. Thank you all for joining us. We'll be here all week, all month, all semester. So keep catching up with us. We'll have lots of different games for you guys. That's going to be it for tonight. Thank you for watching some exciting St. Clair League of Legends. And peace out. Have a good night.